Kong, but it's not just Hong Kong. I'm sure right the way across, the developed world, there are incidents of it happening. Kids the age of 8 having taken drugs. But I mean, it shocks me. But I mean, what was your initial reaction when you read about that? You guys?
I think it was equally shocked as you are. Like, with the age of 6 and the age of 10, my goodness.
Yeah.
And then how did the boy get the drug is another issue.
Well,
I mean,
let me, because I kind of took a bit of an interest in this story and read a bit deeper about it. And apparently, because it's not, for example, a situation of a drug dealer standing outside a school gate
and ask the 8-year-old only drugs.
Want some candy?
Or LSD?
Or DAP?
Yes. It's all through relatives. It's their friends and family members, and shockingly, a small percentage are getting it from their parents, who it's obviously parents who are drug takers and drug addicts or drug takers, and there's a small percentage in Hong Kong of school kids getting it from their parents. So I can see especially in housing estates in Hong Kong, I can see how an older brother who might be taking it or dealing it, he might hand a few out to his young brother or some of their friends and so on, and I think that's how it's happening, that they're not actually they're not actually paying for it directly, but it's still it is a problem in that sense. It's quite a difficult problem to combat, actually.
That's right. Because it's inside the bedroom in a family. Want to try some sun?
Yeah.
I mean, you really have no control of that.
And the government have been saying that the family, your home is actually the final fortress for this kind of drugs entering your home or bringing into your child. And the owner of the fortress is actually giving the drugs to their children, and that's really no way to stop them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, even if you tell first you have to tell their parents not to take drugs, and then just try not to give your son some drugs.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, it's not just education to children, but even like to adults. It's not just children's problem right now.
It's a very, very tricky case.
Yes.
I think the whole thing about taking drugs inside the house actually is I can see it's a bit of a Hong Kong phenomenon as well, actually, where I think a lot of teenagers are having parties actually inside their apartments. That kind of thing doesn't quite. I think I sense in Europe that most of the drug taking tends to be when people go out in nightclubs and stuff. But apparently, it's quite popular now amongst young people in Hong Kong to take it inside their apartment. With a group of other youngsters and stuff. That might be as a reaction because they're worried of getting caught.
That's right.
And so on. That's quite a difficult problem to tackle, I think. And let's face it, the Hong Kong government, of all the issues, it's one issue I wouldn't criticise them for about not taking it seriously, I think. Because I think they do accept it's a serious problem, and they are trying to take it seriously, but they are struggling, I think, because, well, let's face it, the organised crime groups in Hong Kong are very, very clever, and everything that the government and the police think of doing, the organised criminals are thinking of more clever ways to distribute it seems.
Right.
I mean, what do you guys to think? Kenneth, you went to school here in Hong Kong, didn't you?
Yes.
I mean, am I right in saying that, going back, you're not that old, but going back to when you were in primary school, it would be pretty unheard of for drugs to be taken in primary school, but maybe in secondary school it was happening. Do you think?
Not in primary school, I think. Not even in my secondary schools. Like I've never really heard about like drug dealers or any kind of drugs floating into my secondary school, fortunately. And well, I think it's for schools. I think they have quite a good system in preventing this kind of drugs entering their school. I think it's not that difficult to prevent it flowing into the school or flowing into the classroom. But for drugs that's after school time, like as you have said, like it's going like a party of a few teenagers at home or in a room or in public places. That's something the school can't really do. Like they don't have such powers to stop teenagers from going out with some different kind of friends and people like that. So I think for schools, of course they have such responsibility and they actually have such power to check the bags of those students. But then after school, what then? Even at home, sometimes some children can get drugs at home. That's even the worst case. And
why is it, do you think, is such an issue amongst young people in Hong Kong? Why is it, ketamine especially, why are so many young people taking it, from in that age group, secondary school upwards, people in there, especially, it's predominantly, the biggest takers are sort of in their 20s, aren't they? Early 20s and stuff. And I know it's popular, people sometimes going to Shenzhen and stuff, clubbing, don't they, and take it. But, is it a bit of a Hong Kong thing in terms of, people are stressed and, working too hard, or they're getting pressure from their families, and it's kind of a reaction against it, and so on.
Well, pressure and all this kind of things can be like stress and pressure can be one of the main reason for people taking drugs. I guess.
And they just want a totally
just forget about the
out.
reality and all those kinds of things. But some people, I think, they are just trying to act cool, because it's kind of like a fashion of what teenagers should do or something teenagers should try. And once they tried and they feel like, okay, it's not that bad, then they try another time. And for long, like when it goes on, then they just can't stop from taking drugs.
Just like for athletes, when they can get away one time. Just like the Winter Olympics, we talk about whether they do in drugs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just, I beggars believe, I don't quite know why people would want to snort ketamine up their nose, which is a horse tranquilizer of some kind, apparently.
This is just like saying that, I just don't know why people would join a DAB, right?
Yeah. That's a very good link, actually. Yeah, we have to wrap it up now, but thanks for coming, you guys. We're gonna, as we walk out here, we're gonna get a crowd of DAB guys gonna jump on us, I think.
In black suits.
Okay, thanks, and see you next time, guys. Thanks a lot. See you in 2 weeks.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.